So what do you see of the trade right now? What are your trading ideas in this kind of a market? Nooresh, let's start with you.
We're seeing a clean breakout happen. More so in the small cap and the mid cap banking space. So this is where I like Federal Bank. The stock was earlier an outperformer, dipped a bit with the markets, and now is back to a new 52-week high and an all-time high. One of the few mid-cap, small-cap banking names which has hit a new 52-week high as well as an all-time high. So looks set for a move towards 170 in the short term.
Yeah, that's the take coming in on which way the markets are headed. But, you know, a double thumbs up coming in for India. First, you had that Morgan Stanley India upgrade coming in, and then the Goldman Sachs Asia strategy, amidst which they clearly are favoring India right now. In fact, just to, you know, talk about the contours of the Morgan Stanley note first, wherein they're saying that long term, the story of India is gaining strength. They're saying that India is their key pick within the emerging market as well as the Asia Pacific Pac. They're saying the upcoming elections do point to higher volatility, but there is a 14% upside that they do see to the Sensex up until the run up to December 2024 in the base case scenario. They're saying multiple reasons for volumes to actually rise in 2024 once the event uncertainty, that's of the elections, is behind, and they are expecting equities to rise into 2024 elections. So quite interesting, Ajay, because they're also making a case for the pre-election rally, and they're saying that once the event risk is over, you're going to see more and more inflows coming in.
Well, you know, Aisha, I was talking to some market guys who track election and all these things also very closely, because the medium term it does matter. Yeah. You cannot wish it away. Any election, US elections or India election, that it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if you are a 5-10 year player. It does matter if you are a 5-week or 5-month player. Sure. The point is that there's a case for pre-election main rally, but between now and first week of December there are 5 state elections. The narrative so far, and I think Kunal would also agree here, was that all the state elections will not go BJP way. Yeah. It's the national election where the hype. But what if there is a case of 1 or 2 state elections coming BJP's way? That's not in the price. Yeah. So there actually could be a case where earnings actually could surprise on the upside because worst is already priced in. Who knows? But we'll talk about all of that. Right now the complexion of the gain seem to be suggesting, and now you also have the Goldman India call coming in. Aisha spoke about Morgan Stanley, and it is rather to be, you should regret taking position and seeing your prices be 10% lower rather than chasing 10% higher. Goldman says that it's the comparative trade which will favor India. China is becoming weak and a lot of money will actually come out. That's why they have downgraded China and have actually upgraded India, saying it's a more structural kind of a play right now. Pashupati Advani is also joining us. Pashupati, you must be listening to our chat. Aisha and I were discussing 2 big upgrades have come in today. One from Morgan Stanley, the other from Goldman. But largely the gist of it is, barring the election volatility, the elements of the market look okay. Would you agree to that? What is your reading? Have you had a view on these 2 notes?
You know, I agree. I haven't seen these 2 notes because they've just come over the weekend. But, you know, I definitely agree. But the thing that concerns me is that there is some FPI selling still going on, the net. So, I mean, I think that is not a good sign. But I think that could also be because people are trying to profit book before the end of November and get their NAVs, there. And then, you know, maybe we'll get a good January effect like we've had probably 8 years out of 10. So, you know, I think we're off to the races. Definitely the comparative trade between India and China looks better for India. But we are also, you know, on the higher side. And so therefore people are taking profits against their overall emerging markets portfolios, which, you know, have some dogs in it because of Russia and because of, you know, what's happened in the Middle East. They've probably lost some money there. So they're trying to book some profits in the year 2023 because most of the funds are on calendar year. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, in fact, you know, that one space which continues to be charged up ahead, and that's clearly the small cap index. As much conjecture and, you know, doubt there would be in the market that maybe small caps have actually peaked out already for the year, but there's really no stopping the small or, for that matter, the mid caps. On a consecutive basis, you've got the small cap index making fresh highs, and I don't think today is any different when you've got a very, very muted large cap move. But look at what the mid and the small caps are up to, in particular the small caps. Kunal, specifically talking about the mid and the small cap spaces, 5 stocks that you think that you can buy and forget for the next 1 year. Election, no election, you think that those charts are looking that solid that they would digest any sort of event risk?
Well, I'm not sure small caps particularly as such, but there are PSU names which are standing out. I think some of the names like NMDC, Hindustan Copper, we don't talk of these stocks in the same light, but these stocks are showing some classical breakouts as such on the charts. Coal India is something which we discussed earlier. I think this could be a start of a huge uptrend for Coal India. I think the stock has just factored in maybe a 20% rise so far in the last 2-3 months. I expect much bigger returns for the stock. The PSU banking basket itself looking quite charged up. So there was this phase in 2022 end where these PSU banking stocks have rallied. I sense that this could be a second leg of a strong uptrend and a huge uptrend for the PSU banking stocks. So not sure of exactly the small cap names, but I think there are a lot many options to choose from.
Pashupati, I was just talking about how PSU banks, of course, have gone through their fair share of consolidation even after good results. Look at SBI, it's not even able to cross the 620, the recent peak. Some others have had similar fate. But still the sense is that the capital goods, mining PSUs where efficiencies are coming now, they could be good plays even from here on. Which end of the PSU basket do you favor at these levels?
I'll tell you what the government is doing is it's very clear. It needs to spend on infrastructure to make sure that there's job creation. So anything in infra that is going to come along would be a good place to be. On the other hand, you talk about the other PSUs, they also want dividend. So from the ones that are actually generating good cash flow, they want to try and promote those. And they're also trying to do divestment. So the juicy ones, which have got high earnings, high dividend payouts, those are the ones that look attractive, I would rather not go into the list of names, but they're out there. You can do your own research and see which are the ones paying high dividend and which are the ones that actually are making good earnings. And anything obviously leaning towards defense have got an extra boost this year because government is spending more in defense and these guys will also get better earnings and also make higher dividend payouts. So that's my thought on the PSU bucket.
Okay, stay with us, Pashupati. Lots to talk about. For now, it's the small caps which are looking bright, and even the Nifty has actually recovered some bit of lost ground from earlier today. We're back at that 19,500 print for the futures. We'll take a very quick break, and as we do that, let's hear it out from Sunil Singhania as well as Nilesh Shah from Envision Capital as to what are the spaces they are betting big on.
Being seen in a new light right now. Look at how NTPC surged to almost a 14-year high. Does it appear that this ESG kind of a discount, which some of these legacy power energy companies like NTPC and Coal India were getting, all of that has peaked out and market is taking a fresh look at these kind of plays?
For sure that the ESG factor has become a little less and people are beginning to be a little bit soft on it. But again, Coal India is a typical company where it has very high, it has high earnings, high good cash flow, and is a typical candidate for a high dividend. So I think it's definitely going to get better result and then probably declare a dividend in March or maybe April based on this year. And it's part of the government's philosophy of getting money back. So they're going to spend money on the left hand. On the right hand, they want dividends and disinvestment. So Coal India is the best candidate for getting the dividends and perhaps even selling off a few percent of stock into the market. So that's a possibility as well.
Pashupati, which has really emerged back, so to speak, after that, hay time that they had post the COVID outbreak has been pharmaceuticals, right? We were just looking at the IPM value growth. That's clearly doubled versus what we saw in the month of September. And these are just the October figures that I'm talking about so far. Volume growth as well has shot up quite a fair bit. You've got elevated pollution, abrupt seasonality, etc., which has clearly led to, earnings for some of these companies. Sun Pharma, Mankind, JB Pharma, Ipca have already managed to beat the IPM growth. Just wanted to understand whether, you're tactically looking at any of these pharma plays.
Actually, I've liked the pharma sector for a long time and unfortunately watched it go down for whatever reason, probably mainly because of the fact that they were all getting what I call bad chits from the US FDA and they're having to fix their facilities. But having fixed them, having got them back on track, those companies are back, and back to solid growth. And, you've mentioned Sun Pharma as one of them. They had to digest the Ranbaxy, acquisition, and then they had some problem with one of the plants that came with it, but they fixed it, and everything has been changed for state-of-the-art equipment. So we're off to the races. So I think it's fantastic for the whole Indian pharma industry as a group. And I think they've all got their act together, and those that are not, the rest of the industry is pushing them. So it's probably a good sector definitely to be in, and I'm very comfortable with whatever shareholdings I have in that sector.
Okay.
Generic players like Oro, Lupin, Cipla have improved their commentary. Then the stocks have also done well recently. But let's see. Let's talk about some of the other plays. BHEL, BEML, BEL, sorry. Both of the stocks are doing very well, and they are the classic capital goods kind of a play from the PSU basket. You spoke about infra, Pashupati. Up till now, we have seen the Siemens, ABB version, the private sector, large capital good guys, which have really done very well, Cummins as well, on market as well as earnings. The PSU basket has been mixed. But would you take a bet here?
BEML is a good stock. It's fundamentally being run properly, and it's doing well. They've also got a niche where they're going into some new technologies, which also has been very innovative from the government side. And I think that it's again, high earnings, high dividend, and therefore another candidate for potential disinvestment also for some small amount of stake. So it ticks all the buttons. I see a lot of, we've been in the IPO market for a little bit of time, but we haven't seen too many government IPOs. I think we'll probably see some government IPOs in the first quarter of 24, and let's see what happens. And I think that's good for all concerned because it'll have more paper in the market.
Pashupati, great to have you on the show, and wish you a very happy Diwali as well from all of us.
Thank you very much.
Okay.